Hey guys, Ali here, and in this video I'm going to take you through a cartwheel tutorial. So a cartwheel is a move that you see a lot in gymnastics, also in capoeira, which is a Brazilian martial arts, and there's so many different ways of doing it. And in this video I'm going to show you how I learned it and how I do it. So the benefits of cartwheel is that it's a really good entry point to the world of acrobatics. And it also is a good entry point to just being upside down, supporting yourself with your arms on the floor and shifting weight from hand to hand, and just gets you stronger in that upside down position, strengthens your shoulders, and overall a really fantastic move to have in your movement arsenal. So let's jump into the tutorial, and I'll have some reflections for you near the end. Starting with a wrist warm up here, just going to interlace the hands, make some circles, lubricate its wrist joint. The next thing, we're going to place the hands on the floor, spread the palms and the fingers, and just circle the shoulders around the wrists and the hands a few times, shifting weight from hand to hand. Then switch directions. When we're done with that, we're just going to shake out the hands and the wrists, a couple more circles to just get the blood flow going. Okay, so for the first variation, we're going to draw a line on the ground. It could be real or imaginary. I'm going to take a step away from that line at an angle, so the line is on the outside of our body. Then we're going to reach forward, place one hand, and then the second hand on the line, fingers towards the line, and take two steps to the other side. So it's going to look like hand, hand, step, step. So here I'm going to do the whole thing again, just finding that line in the ground, taking a step away from it so it's on the outside of our body, standing at an angle. You can squat down a bit as you reach forward, hand, hand, fingers towards the line, and then step, step. And notice as I do this, when I take my first step, I turn so I'm facing the direction that I just came from. So that back foot, which steps first, will internally rotate towards our hands, and then the second leg reaches back as far back so that we can stand up. So notice the first leg internally, second leg reaches so we can stand up. Another very important thing to think about here is to push out of the floor as you stand up and reach the leg. This becomes even more important in more advanced versions because you don't want to collapse and you want to be able to push out of the floor. Here's another angle for you to see my hand placement and feet placement. And as you just get more comfortable with this, see if you can add more speed, more fluidity before you move on to the next step. For the second variation, we're going to repeat the same thing. This time, take a little hop instead of stepping. So this is going to require you to shift your weight all the way onto your hands just for a half a second or a second, so you can take the feet off the floor and hop. The orientation of the feet, everything else is the same. And like before, notice how I place that back foot internally, reach that second leg out, and also push into the floor with my arms to stand up. And over time, you could get more height. Bit by bit, you can lift the legs a little bit higher, try to get the hips over the hands. Don't worry about straightening the legs too much here. The main focus here should be getting the hips as high as possible over the wrists, and maybe straightening the legs over time, bit by bit again. You gotta really take your time with this process. As you get more comfortable with your hops, then you can actually start standing closer to the line. So not stepping too far away. We're going to do the exact same thing. So this way our feet and our hands are relatively in the same line. And don't worry too much if they're not perfectly in the same line, but the goal is to get them closer and closer. So I'll show you from this angle. See, I'm not stepping as far back this time. There's still a little bit of a distance, but it's a lot closer. And I'm trying to stack my hips on top of my hands as I go. Next thing I want to show you is a couple of conditioning and strengthening drills that's going to really improve and upgrade your cartwheels. First one is a handstand kick up, where you just place the hands on the floor, kick up with straight legs, and switch the legs as you come down. Really important to switch the legs here. Showing it from the front angle, kicking up, straight legs, come back down. If you can spend more time on the arms and the hands, the better. Next one is similar, but instead of scissoring the legs and switching them, we're going to keep them as far apart as possible as we go up, and kind of in a straddle shape go to the other side. So we can call these straddle swings. Showing you from a different angle, 1 foot a step forward, initiating the straddle swings as you go up and to the other side and down. The more you get used to this, the more you can start your swings from the outside so that it looks more like a cartwheel as opposed to going up into a handstand. Next thing, we're going to do the exact same thing, but instead of going both hands first to the floor, we're going to try to take one hand first and then the other, and try to maximize the time that we spend on each arm. This will really require you to shift weight from one hand to the other hand as you come to the other side, and this is really important for a cartwheel. So one hand, then the other hand, and then down. Last thing, I'll just show you a few different ways that I like to play around with cartwheels. So that could be straight legs, maybe even bent legs, legs together in the middle. This is a really fun one. It's hard because it almost goes into a handstand. Something I really like to do sometimes is to reach as forward as possible as I do my full cartwheel. So see how much traveling I'm doing as I'm doing my cartwheel. And again, legs together, showing you again. This does help you develop some control. And my most favorite version of doing a cartwheel is a forward cartwheel, which I've already done a tutorial on that I'm going to be linking down below. Okay, now that you've seen how I do my cartwheel, first of all, hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Hope that you learned and you got something out of it. And then second, just want to bring up this reflection of this idea of doing a perfect cartwheel or perfect movement for that matter. And it's important because I want you to ask yourself why you're learning that cartwheel in this case. And yeah, if you are hoping to become this high-level performer in an environment like a circus, for example, then yes, like putting in all those hours to have your perfect cartwheel with straight legs, pointed toes is important, right? But very few of us are having that goal. And I assume that a lot of you want to learn cartwheel just to build strength, just to go upside down and play with some acrobatics, and that's amazing. And just take it easy for yourself. Like you might be performing your cartwheel for the first time, or you might just be new to it, and you might be like, damn, like it doesn't look as good as how I do it, or how high-level gymnasts do it, and that's okay, and yeah, put in the extra hours to get a decent looking one. But just want to say, like, ask yourself, like, why you're learning it. Are you learning just to get stronger, just to be more body aware, just to like add a new movement to your movement journey or fitness journey? Then then put away the idea of a perfect cartwheel, because I don't have a perfect one. I have a movement practice where I learn different moves and put them together in different flows, and I love that. And yeah, like to some degree I care about it looking nice and clean, but I don't go that extra mile to make it look perfect, because what is perfect anyways? Perfect is how you define it, right? So I just want to offer that reflection at the end. Hope it helps, and if you have any extra comments, questions, let me know. Cheers.